What is going on, guys? Welcome back to a brand new episode on the channel. It is a long time ago, but I'm back at Mike's place, back in Hiroshima. We just visited his new house and he is working on the other two greenhouses you might seen. I think it's 1.5 years ago when they were doing the concrete, January last year.
Actually, that was, earlier this year. Yeah, they started doing that, clearing the ground and doing all the groundwork side of it. So yeah, that was, they started doing the construction in June. So yeah, when you came before.
And it's almost finished.
Yep, soon be, well, hopefully next month.
That's amazing. And look at that, guys. I was so surprised because, well, Mike, actually, you don't really like the plants anymore this big in your filter system.
They drive me crazy, but they're okay. With this system of showers, they work fine and the water still goes down through fine. But if it was the more conventional, older style showers that you would have otherwise seen in Japan, those ones, the roots can then block at the bottom of the trays so the water doesn't flush all the way through. But these ones, this design, which is ones I've had made to my design, they don't suffer that issue at all. But nonetheless, I don't like it. Because, well, they kind of eventually sag into the pond and the fish get hold of it and shred it and the bits are floating around everywhere. But the water's good, but I've left it how it is because I don't want to take it off whilst the fish are feeding really heavily. I want to wait until the sort of feeding season's less crucial, you know, like around, say, koi show time, that kind of thing, or just after. At that point, that would be the time to take it all out when they're not going to get fed anyway.
Yeah, but it looks, for me, it looks awesome. It's nice to see the plants growing and also to see all the nice fish and how clear the water is here. So we're going to do a little tour around the new ponds if you want, Mike.
No problem at all.
So we're starting on this side where we have the bigger fish. What do you think, Mark?
Big
Fifth day here in Japan.
Yeah, I like the banana again.
The banana, the yellow ones, the Yamabukis.
The yellow ones. No, really nice.
We got a nice surprise for you tomorrow then.
Ooh.
So Mike is expecting his second child very, very soon here. So his new house is almost finished. He's next to the farm here. And I really love being here because beside the water quality, beside the quality of the fish Mike selects, it's just always so fun to get a part of his story and how he does everything here in Japan, which is pretty cool.
Yeah,
right.
So this pond, bigger, older fish. The biggest in here is around about the 90 cm is the biggest ones, and biggest kahaku, I think 87 at the moment. So still relatively young fish. So in the next year or two, with a bit of luck, with a bigger fish house next door or bigger pond next door as well, you'll see the fish kind of coming up through the size ranks, if you like. So yeah, I mean at the moment they're still relatively young fish.
What is the biggest one? Is it the Yamabuki or is it the Kohaku?
Two Karashis are the biggest. They're both around about the 90 mark, possibly a bit over. Like you say, biggest Kohaku is 4-step one that's in there.
Yeah, I saw that one.
Yeah,
it was just
87.
swimming by.
Yeah, and then there's some others just under that.
Oh, the sankas are massive. Look at the bodies on those. Beautiful. Big Kohaku there. Gorgeous.
Shiritsuri's now about 80. That's actually, we took that to the no-go site.
This year?
Again, yeah.
Did you want anything with it?
Got a second prize with that.
That's gorgeous.
Fish is, I think, really good and still a lot of potential. So yeah. Exciting one.
Amazing.
That was its first time out on the show scene, as it were, that fish.
Beautiful. I really, really like it. Awesome. Look how many fish are in here, and I love the amount of sanka.
Get more of, really, in the last couple of years, because really nice sanka are actually quite hard to find. So it's kind of, I think when you do find them, you need to try as hard as you can to get as many good ones as possible, because you can't get them every year. Kahaku, usually you can get really nice kahaku somewhere every year. But yeah, sanka is quite tricky.
Which breeder is the most, what breeder is your main supplier?
Well, for sanka, I would say Sakai Company, Tamura, Kahaku Sakai Company, Matsue. Those two really. Showers now, Ueno, Dainichi Toyota, Dainichi as well.
So a kind of varieties, a lot of mix of breeders.
Yeah, quite a mix really, depending on who's got what I like kind of thing. So yeah, Toyota Showa I really like. So this year I've got quite a lot, and last year also. So
yeah, beautiful.
There's one Toyota one in here that's now Sanzai that's beautiful, which, this one down there, which was from the Dream Koi exhibition at Tokyo show.
Oh wow, the show.
January, yeah. that one I think is just lovely. It's now sold, but it's basically staying here now for 2 years as a caddy, so for me that's fun.
All the beautiful fish
So,
are
yeah.
quite often quickly sold, Mike.
Yeah, it's well, it should be the case.
Yeah.
If that's not the case, there's something wrong. So.
Okay, so that's koi house number 1, Mike.
Yeah, koi house number 1, and then there's, I don't know, you have seen this, haven't you, in construction stage or concrete stage? So yeah, this one's 75 ton.
This is the big one.
Yeah.
Watch my step.
Yeah.
Oh wow, that's a huge pond.
So yeah, fiberglass is done, top of the walls painted. It's just the openings where the backy showers have gone. I've had to grind out a lot of the top coat and mat so that the showers will fit, and so I've got to redo that part, just re-top coat that, and then I can start then putting the showers, drum filter on, and go from there. So yeah, it's not too far away now, this one.
Now this one seems really nice. Absolutely beautiful. So that's the part you have to recoat there.
Yeah, those openings, because that's at the water level's halfway, well, 30 mil up from the bottom of the opening, so about that high up. That's where the water then comes through the wall. And so yeah, I need to basically re-top coat that. Then the showers can come into that opening and fill the opening, and yeah.
Off to go.
Yeah, off you go. And then steel work that's on the floor. Stainless steel.
Over there.
RSJs or whatever you want to call them. Those go on top of the filters.
Mm-hmm.
And the backy showers are supported on those rails, as it were, the back part of the backy showers.
That's amazing. You're going to use drum filters as well?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So the other house, fish house, is the same. So it's all drum filtered.
Well, you could put
Drum, submerged filtration, and backy showers.
And what about the plants?
No plants, but they will come.
Yeah,
It doesn't
eventually.
matter what you do, they will come. So yeah.
Awesome. It's like a swimming pool that large. It's crazy.
It'd be exciting to get it running, because once it's running, we can obviously move a lot of the bigger fish, older fish, over to here, and then the idea is it's going to be their knee side through the Sanzai in the 37 ton, and then Sanzai over in the bigger one, and then basically bigger fish in here.
Bigger fish in here, yeah.
and
Young's
then
and higher.
The adjacent fish house will be kind of a little bit multi-purpose, but 234 ton ponds, and they are going to be primarily for raising knee side. But depending on numbers, it's possible that one pond will be used for toe side,
Yeah.
going through the jumbo toe side, that kind of thing. 20 ton pond then is mostly for doing like koi show preparation. So rather than stopping feeding the pond and lowering the temperature and taking fish off to the show, that kind of thing, which is no good for any of the fish, just for the sake of a few, any potential show candidates a little bit more before time can be moved over to there and then prepared and conditioned better, whilst everything else just keeps on being fed uninterrupted. So,
Well, let's take a look over there as
yeah,
well.
let's go.
Okay, third koi house.
So it's 20 ton, and again, submerged filtration, backy showers, drum filtered again, everything's drum filtered. And then 2 at 34 tons each. And yeah, 3 bottom drains, drum filter, submerged filtration again, and backy showers again. And that's 5 o'clock, time to go home.
Oh, really? That's
Not
like
necessarily for you, but
it's the time, like
yeah, 5 o'clock every day. Yeah.
Oh wow, that's like imagine having this in our
Yeah,
place.
well,
in
let's know this music. A lot of English people know that this is the music for one TV commercial for a bread company, Hovis Bread.
That's really loud, actually. Unbelievable. Well, beautiful, yeah. And this one is still in the fiberglass stage. You fiberglass everything yourself still?
Well, I had someone come out and do the fiberglass on these for me, but basically this is as far as it got. That was back in June time, and it basically became too hot, too fast to do the rest of it.
Yeah.
So
get that.
yeah, basically re-top coated that one. Now basically ready to get going on these, but
When that one is finished, probably this one will be finished.
I want to get all
quick.
of these in fiberglass before the weather gets too cold.
Yeah.
So really before January hits us, because otherwise it's going to be too difficult to.
But you also
glass
have a
it with
baby
temperature.
coming very soon.
Yeah, yeah.
You need some help.
chaos.
You need some
Yeah.
extra help with the
I need
baby,
help up here,
so
that's
you
what I
can
need.
work on the ponds.
Yeah. And then there's one more small one, kind of an annex fish house, if you like.
Oh, a surprise. You don't see snakes very often here?
Oh, plenty.
Oh, really? At your property as well? Mamushi?
No, not really, but here you do. So you need to kind of watch where you're stepping. Or
Uh-oh.
certainly when there's long grasses. That's my bigger enemy though, Mukade.
What's that?
The Japanese giant centipede. Those things are nasty.
Oh no, so
Yeah.
we should get him out.
You have to fight them. That's one cooked. It's dead, cooked, almost fossilized. But,
Okay, but if I grab it, I will have a problem?
if
or-
that was alive, it would hurt and it would cause a lot of swelling.
Oh, I don't want to do that.
Yeah, so you really wouldn't want to be upsetting them. And they reckon that if you kill a mukade, what actually happens is they let off kind of a scent, and they're always in pairs, and always another one's going to show up. But usually, if you kill them, it's kind of like killing a hornet.
And then the
They'll
rest is
come.
coming.
Yeah, everyone they know comes to the party. So they reckon with these that what you need to do is put them in hot water to kill
Okay,
them.
nice tea.
Now, some people think, oh yeah, this is nature, how can you do it? These things are cute, let's play with them. And some people do, but that's not me.
No.
It's like them or me.
I love this pond. It's not that small actually.
No, I mean, it's 10 tons, but it kind of looks bigger.
Yeah,
So it's 2 meters by 4 meters, 1.3 meters deep.
I love it.
And but this is really like quarantine for bringing
Sure.
new fish in, and also again it could be used for like show preparation or doing shipping preparation.
Yeah, it still needs to be
it's
fiberglass.
multi-purpose, if you like, really.
How much time would you spend normally on fiberglass for something like this? 1 day or 2 days?
Or for me, more like 2 months. I'm not the fastest, but no, I mean to be fair, to do something like this, I would say probably about 3 days. But
Yeah.
there's plenty of people I think that would do this, like all the mat on 1 day,
Yeah.
and then the top coat the next day. You know, a couple of hours job. There's plenty of people that can do that. But for me, I kind of play around with it too much. I worry about tiny details, you know. So I put too much time in.
Why do you use fiberglass? I would imagine it would be like center breaks and just putting plaster on it, or
Well, I mean, breeders generally paint them. And they kind of feel, every breeder I've spoken to is like, oh, why are you using fiberglass? It's a waste of money. Well, to me, it's not, because breeders' kind of point of view is, oh, well, you know, it's fine every like 4 or 5 years, just paint it again. And the problem here for me, I'm not a breeder, so I'm not putting everything in the mud pond and having empty fish houses and draining everything down and jet washing everything each year. For me, the fish are in there forever.
Yeah.
It's just that some fish are leaving, some new fish are coming in, and it's that kind of rolling kind of process. So they're always going to have water in. So I can't just say, okay, the paint's peeling off the wall, I need to move everything out
Yeah.
and repaint. So that's why it's fiberglass.
What's that sound?
yeah, I'm immediately scared. Like there's probably a big creature somewhere.
There'll be a big croc somewhere. Well, not really so big, but it sounds big.
It
I
is-
see him here. He's with the camera.
yeah.